tell us? Looked like everybody was out there today, but what can you tell us about availability for Saturday?
Fully fit squad. Everybody has come through okay. Everybody's trained okay. So yeah, fully fit squad, ready to go.
In terms of Pep, I know that you don't want to reveal your hand, but how easy is it for you to slide him back in, or did Kerwin make your decision difficult?
He's available for selection. Kerwin has made it difficult, obviously. I thought Kerwin played well. I thought we played well last week. So we've got a few things to ponder, but they're good things to ponder.
Is it as difficult a decision up top with Patrick versus Carroll, or did you see anything with putting Carroll in at the end, or was that mostly due to penalties? What was kind of your methodology?
No, I mean, it was to try and get a winner, in all honesty. Bringing Carroll into the game at that stage was to, try and get a winner, win the game in normal time. So we have decisions between, Pep, Kerwin, Carroll, Patrick. Good decisions to have at the moment.
Have you ever in your career had a situation where you played the same team 3 games in a row?
I don't think I have, to be honest. I may have done. Yeah, I may have had, because FA Cups used to be first and second replays, and they could go up to a 5th replay. So yeah, I think I may have done. I mean, the closest I had, I think when I was at Villa, we played Everton within a week of each other. Just how the fixtures had gone on during COVID, I think it was. Went and played them away and won 2-1, and then drew at home 0-0. I think Ancelotti was in charge at the time.
What's the challenge in having 3 fixtures against the same team? Can you overthink yourself? Do you maybe see something new every time you see them?
No, I think we know a lot about each other. We've played each other 4 times already. This will be the 5th time. We know a lot about each other. The funny thing with these playoff games is we didn't play well and they played well at their place and they won. We played well at our place and they didn't play that well and we won. So it'd be interesting if we both bring out A games on Saturday and see who can win that game.
I know you were very particular early in your first MLS season about not taking anything out of how hard it is to play on the road in this league. But how easy or difficult is it to replicate your aggressiveness from game 2 down there?
We have to take it in because that's what gave us a better performance, by being more aggressive, by fixing how to get to their 6s. I thought we did that a lot better. We forced them into mistakes, and we restricted them to 0 chances really. First off, I think they had the next year of 0. So we was doing something right, and we need to make sure that we're on that front foot again and do the same.
I know this is not the time for reflectiveness because there's still a job ahead, but how foundational is this for a squad that you hope to keep intact, that they're getting this experience, this much playoff experience in your first year as a manager?
I think it's good for the players to experience it. A lot of the coaches have experienced it before, obviously, but not so many players. So I think that's really good for them. They're getting the exposure that they deserve now, and but we still think there's a job to be done. We think we can go to Orlando and put in a performance that will get us through to the conference semi-finals.
When do you make the decision on who to go at striker?
Normally when I'm lying in bed tonight and thinking about my decision and why I'm going to make that. There'll be different things that have formed during my mind during the week, but the players will get to know tomorrow morning.
Is it kind of nice to have the wild card to play so the other team doesn't always know who's going to be the guy?
Yeah, I think it's good that we've got 2 good players at the moment challenging each other. One being one of our DPs and one being the top goal scorer this season. It's a good position to be in, and they both cause a threat for different reasons as well, because they play differently. So yeah, it's nice to have that problem.
No offense, but strikers have a prima donna kind of reputation, and have egos to massage. But I feel like Swiderski took it in stride and came on and made his penalty kick. I mean, have you seen a reaction from him
No, as I said, from the moment he came back, his attitude and application have been excellent. So yeah, Whiteley, no player wants to be told they're going to start off the bench. They all want to be starting. You know, his attitude was exemplary in terms of coming onto the pitch and doing what he did. I thought he was the same against DC in the last game of the season. I thought he came in and did really well there. You know, and when he started, he's been excellent as well. So I'm happy with where he is. You know, we've got a no policy at the club, and you know, we certainly don't have them.
Is that a T-shirt?
It is now.
Defensively, I know you play the same shape, but were there some tactical things that you might have changed to fill some of those gaps? You know,
we changed slightly for the home game. We felt that we didn't get enough pressure on their 2 6s, and they played out too easy for our liking. You know, and we had one of our 6s jumping. You know, and putting a lot more pressure on them, so they had to play from a lot deeper than they did at their place, and we have to make sure that we're doing the same, whether it's at the bank or whether it's at their place.
Did that have an effect on Torres getting the ball, not as often, or what?
I think so, because the only way he was going to get the ball was from a big switch from the left back, and you know, player as experienced as Tim can see that coming from a long way.
Thank you.
So playing them twice and such with different results both times, it becomes a chess match for, you know, this one. Do you think of like what, try to put in your heads what Orlando's going to do to counter the last match?
Yeah, I mean, I think both of us, you know, as coaches will be thinking, okay, what adjustments can the other make for this game? You know, I think we've both got an identity in how we want our teams to play. You know, and it's how do we tweak that identity to give us the advantage. So, you know, I've already been looking at what they could possibly do to stop us doing what we did in the last game, and you know, vice versa, they'll be doing the same.
Because I mean, Charlotte had, you know, they had the possession, but that was pretty much empty, and Charlotte had, you know, definitely were the better team on the field this last time out, but they still didn't score, and Orlando had one, you know, taken back, you know, with that. Do you think they're practicing penalty kicks a lot more this week?
I don't know. Is the honest answer. I mean, you know, we'll all practice them, but there's 120 minutes to get through to get to penalties. You know, that's the difference this time, because there's extra time and then penalties. So, you know, I hope it doesn't get to penalties. I hope that a team finds a win in the 120 minutes or 90 minutes. You know, it becomes a little bit of a lottery when it does go down to penalties.
And is there anything you're doing to avoid that first game blah when the team came out?
Yeah, we knew we weren't good enough, and we spoke about that, and I knew we'd be better going into the second game, and likewise, I know returning to Orlando, our performance levels haven't been great in the 2 games we've played there, but that's certainly the second game was more of an individual level than anything else, and players know that they have to put that right if they want to progress.
And this is a team that Charlotte hasn't beaten this year, because even the penalty kicks is still considered a draw. Is there the confidence there that this is a team you know you can beat?
Well, I think, you know, for me, we have beat them. I know people will say it's a draw, but then, you know, Argentina wouldn't have been lifting the World Cup last year if that was a draw as well. So yeah, it felt very special, and it felt like a win to me. So I'll definitely take the win.
Thank you.
No worries.
So, Coach, hypothetical situation: you walk out off the pitch in Orlando, and it's the last game of the season. What do you say to the players?
Not a lot, I don't think, because it'll be quite an emotional time if that is the case. So, I mean, some players will be jetting off for international duties, so we'll have to speak to the players about what we're going to do, but at the moment we're not thinking that way.
Well, then let's think the other way. But, you know, you're going to be in Orlando as your game's wrapping up, one bright line trip down the road in Florida. Miami's going to be playing Atlanta. Are you thinking about who you want to face next?
No, not at all. But I think one of the players already said to me, hypothetically, we could be the highest seeded team in our side of the draw if all the results went that way. But no, we're just thinking about our results. We can't affect anything else. Just concentrate. And I said before, when we went into that DC game, you can't go and pick and choose what teams you're going to play. It doesn't work like that, and we've seen that with Columbus going out and New York Red Bulls going through. You've got to concentrate on yourselves and what you do best, and if you do that well, then you can go and progress.
What is there? I know we've talked a lot about the front three. Is there any chance that we get both Carroll and Pat? Is that a possibility, or do you think it's going to be one of the two? No,
I think you saw both of them, play for the last 20 minutes, last weekend. So they can certainly do that. It's something that we have looked at and toyed with. Whether we start with it or not, I'm not sure.
And then, are you satisfied? Are you happy about the other two lines? Obviously, we know who's going to be starting in goal, but.
The other two lines, yeah, they've been pretty steady, haven't they? 14 clean sheets, I think it's been this season. So, I don't think there'll be too much changing in that group.
Last year, and again, this is just a very small sample size with this format, but only one of the lower seeds advanced out of the first round, and only 3 series went to a third game. We're seeing more third games. We've already seen a lower seed advance. What is the secret to forcing a third game, number one, prevailing in such, and these lower seeds seeming to have a little bit more parity when it comes to this?
I think I've been quite consistent all season, where I think it's been quite a tight league. I know Miami ran away with the Supporters Shield, but we played 2 games against Miami, and I thought we were really good at home, and it was and that very narrow defeat. We could have won at their place. We played Columbus, we won and drawn, we played Cincinnati. It's one of them. Certainly on the East, and I can't talk about the West, but the East for me, anybody could beat anybody, and that's why it'd be no surprise to me, if all 4 of the lower seeds went through.
In terms of the traveling support, found out this morning that there's going to be some buses that go down. I think Joe LaBousse said something in the neighborhood of 500 or more coming down. What will it mean to have those there with you?
Everything, because our supporters have been everything for us this season. The amount of emails and mail I've had from supporters after last Friday, and what a night that was for them, and that was for them. It was great to see so many there enjoying themselves and partying. So let's hope we can now go down and do them proud again. And the Hornets won last night, the Panthers won last week. Maybe this is a renaissance for the city.
All right, won the state.
And following up on the fans, because Adilson spoke about how valuable that was there, and how much an impact it made for the players. Do you believe that? Yeah,
definitely. It makes an impact. I mean, we saw the numbers that travelled to Atlanta. We saw the numbers that travelled to DC for the last game. So to have that support now coming down to Orlando with us as well will be fantastic.
And before the last game, you had said having Carroll and Pat on the field really hadn't worked out the way you had wanted before. Do you feel better about them together now since the last? Yeah,
they've got more of an understanding. We've managed to get more work into them as well. And I think the last time was the Philadelphia game in the Leagues Cup that wasn't nothing to write home about.
Yeah, the Leagues Cup in general.
Do you have any thoughts about Jim Curtin? Seems like he might be on the way out of Philadelphia.
Yeah, I just heard that earlier. Yeah, a bit disappointed because I like Jim. I thought he was a really good coach, and after the tough start with Philly, I thought he'd got them very close to getting a playoff position at the end.
You mentioned emails from fans. Did you hear from anybody in Western North Carolina, maybe? I know you had said after.
No, I'm not sure. They were all over the place, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was nice.
Were you surprised that Torres didn't take a PK early in the sequence?
No, because I'll be honest with you, I couldn't tell you who took the penalties.
Okay. It was, I know Maguire was the last one.
Yeah, I saw Maguire took.
Maguire, Ladero, Muriel, and Janssen.
Yeah.
He's probably fit.
I don't pay much attention to the
But I mean,
opposition's
the thinking
penalties.
is either go with your big gun. Well, I don't know you want to say it that way, but your
Yeah, I
strikers
mean,
were first. You know,
I leave that to
That's
Callie and the goalkeeping coach. That's their job, you know, keep the balls out the back of the net, and mine is to pick our best ones.
What is your philosophy on picking? Do you initiate it, or do you let the players?
No, we'd done penalties before, so I just told them which order I'd like to see them in. Yeah.
All right. Sam, and then Nate just said he had a question, so we'll do the last two.
And then the day after the match, you went and saw Jamie play in Greenville, or for Greenville. How close are you tracking that? Are you hoping to get to the next match?
No, can't get to the next match. They're playing Saturday as well in Nebraska against Omaha. Yeah, so no, it was nice to go down. He came off the bench. He's been injured, so he came off the bench for the last 10 minutes and saw the game through for them. So, yeah, that was a nice win. A bit tricky getting there. You know, the president-elect decided to go to Gastonia on the same day, and you know, caused me about an hour and a half traffic. But apart from that, it was okay.
Thank you.
No
All right,
worries.
We'll end with Nate on the Zoom call.
Nathan Byrne.
Hey, Coach. This is a do or die game for you guys. And a lot of these guys might not have been in this position. How do you keep them kind of relaxed and not make this bigger than what it is or should it get to them? How do you keep them just relaxed and level-headed?
Just explain to them that it's a football pitch that they've played on all their lives, all their careers. There's 2 goals at the end, and the idea is to score more than the opposition. Pitches are normally the same size, the grass is normally the same. You know, just it's a normal game. Just go and play the best you can in a normal game. You know, outside influences are exactly that, and you don't need to have them in your head. You need to just concentrate on what you can do.
Perfect. All right. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you.
This is very normal.